In 2003, British cycling changed forever. Dave Brailsford was recently hired as a new performance director, and at the time, Great Britain had endured nearly 100 years of mediocrity in cycling. Since 1908, British riders had only won a single gold medal at the Olympic Games, and in the Tour de France, no British cyclist had ever won for 110 years. So Brailsford had been hired to put British cycling on a new trajectory. And what made this performance director different from previous coaches was his relentless commitment to a strategy referred to as the aggregation of marginal gains. This was the philosophy of searching for tiny, marginal gains in everything. And Brailsford said, the whole principle came from the idea that if you broke down everything you could think of that goes into riding a bike, and then improve it by 1%, you will get a significant increase when you put them all together. Brailsford began by making small adjustments, like redesigning the bike seat for more comfort and rubbing alcohol on the tires for a better grip. They asked riders to wear electrically heated overshorts to maintain ideal muscle temperature while riding, and they used biofeedback sensors to monitor how each athlete responded to a particular workout. Outdoor riders switched to indoor racing suits because they were found to be lighter and more aerodynamic. But they didn't stop there. Brailsford and his team continued to find marginal gains of 1% improvements, where other teams would overlook these things. The team tested different types of massage gels to see which one led to the fastest muscle recovery. They hired a surgeon to teach each rider how to wash their hands to reduce the chances of catching a cold, and they tested different pillows and mattresses to find out which one led to the best night of sleep. As these and hundreds of other small improvements accumulated, the results came faster than anyone else could have imagined. 5 years after Brailsford took over, the British cycling team dominated cycling events in the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing. Here, they won an astounding 60% of all gold medals available, and 4 years later, when the Olympic Games came to London, the British raised the bar again, setting 9 Olympic records and 7 world records. That same year, Bradley Wiggins became the first British cyclist to win the Tour de France, and the next year, his teammate Chris won the race as well, and Chris would go on to win again in 2015, 2016, and 2017, giving the British team 5 Tour de France victories in 6 years. This was widely regarded as the most successful run in cycling history. So how does something like this happen, and how can you apply this to your own life? How does a team of previously ordinary athletes transform into world champions with just tiny changes? At first glance, it would seem that this would make a modest difference at best. But why do these small improvements actually accumulate into such remarkable results? Well, unfortunately, we almost always overestimate the importance of one defining moment, often thinking that we need to make world-shattering changes at one moment to actually make any improvements. But on the other hand, we severely underestimate the value of small improvements on a daily basis. Improving by 1% isn't particularly notable. Sometimes it's not even noticeable. But what we fail to realize is that these small changes over time are far more meaningful than single defining moments or massive changes. The difference in tiny improvements can make a much bigger change over time. A quick math calculation tells us that if you can get 1% better each day for 1 year, you'll end up 37 times better by the time you're done. On the other hand, if you get 1% worse each day, you'll decline nearly to 0. So what starts off with a small win or a minor setback can accumulate into something much more significant. So maybe you should start paying more attention to the small things on a daily basis in your life. This book is based on the fantastic book Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you want to learn more about building habits and making lasting changes, check the book out in the description below.